How do you apply to law school for free? That's the question we're going to be talking about today as we discuss law school application fee waivers. For those of you who are new, my name is Sydney Montgomery, and I'm the founder of S. Montgomery Admissions Consulting, a brand underneath the Barrier Breakers faith-based nonprofit where we specialize in working with first-generation and minority law school applicants. And today we're talking about fee waivers because, listen, applying to law school can be very expensive. And you might not realize that there are ways to get your law school application fees waived. Now, those law school application fees can cost anywhere from $50 to $100. And I'm not talking about the credential assembly service fee that is through the Law School Admission Council. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. But I'm talking about the actual fee to apply to the school. So for those of you who don't know, when you apply to law school, there are two sets of fees. There's your CAS report fee, your credential assembly service fee, and that is the fee that the Law School Admission Council charges to send your letters of recommendation, your transcripts, all that good stuff to every law school. You pay that for every law school unless you have a fee waiver from the Law School Admission Council. And depending on your fee waiver, there's one tier that gives you 6 schools, 6 of your CAS reports waived, and then there's another tier that gives you 3 of your CAS reports waived. But there's also a second fee, and that's the fee that the schools charge to process and read your applications. That's on top of your CAS fee. So today we're talking about that law school application fee, that school-specific fee. How can you go about getting that waived? Well, actually, the first way, and I'm going to tell you 5 different ways. So there's 5 different ways to get your law school application fees waived. And that first way is actually by getting a credential assembly service waiver or getting an LSAC fee waiver. You would go to the homepage of the Law School Admission Council. You would go under LSAT and you would go under LSAT costs. And under LSAT costs, you'll see LSAC Fee Waivers, or you could just Google LSAC Fee Waivers, and it'll get you here. You click how to apply, and you apply for a fee waiver right through your LSAC online account. So you'll need to upload copies of all documentation supporting your fee waiver application. It must be uploaded no later than 45 days after submitting your application online. Now, it's really important to note that they don't retroactively apply it. So if you pay to take the LSAT exam, because if you get an LSAC fee waiver, it includes not just the CAS fee, but also you get 1 or 2 LSAT test fees waived. But if you take the LSAT and then you apply for a fee waiver, they're not going to refund you that money back. It's important to know that. So documentation required does vary based on your citizenship status. And so there's a few different things, a few different documents that you may need. So there is an approval process. And also if it's denied, there is an appeal process. So it's very important if you are denied that you actually try to get an appeal because, you can give them some more information. So usually for most schools, if you have an LSAC fee waiver, a lot of schools will automatically waive their own application fee, or they will, as a courtesy, even if it's not automatic, as a courtesy, they will waive their application fee. So that is the first way to get your law school application fees waived is by getting a Law School Admission Council fee waiver. The second way, let's say you're like, okay, but what do I do? Maybe I don't have a fee waiver. There are some schools that if you go to the LSAC Forums, they will actually give you a fee waiver at their booth or their table. So, okay, how do you know about the Law School Admission Council Forums? And what is a Law School Admission Council Forum? Well, a forum is kind of like a college fair. It's a law school fair. There's some digital forums, and then there are some in-person forums. And usually, not always, so don't quote me on it. It's not a guarantee. But a lot of times, if you visit a school or engage with a school at one of the LSAC forums, you will be able to maybe talk to an admissions officer or a dean, and they might give you a fee waiver. So how do you go about finding these LSAC forums, you ask? If you are on the LSAC website, you're going to go to Discover Law. Under Preparing for Law School, they have LSAC Law School Forums. And then you'll be able to see the forums, which is really exciting. They have a 2023 to 2024 event schedule. So you'll be able to see, there's a digital forum in September, there's a Toronto forum in September, there's a Chicago forum in September, there's a Miami forum in September. September's a busy month. There's an Atlanta forum in October. So you see there's a lot of these forums, right? And there you can meet with law school reps, you can attend live workshops, and you might even be able to get one of those fee waivers. So that is the second way that you can get your law school fees waived. Now, there are some other ways, actually not even through the Law School Admission Council themselves. One of those ways is by going to admissions events that the schools host. So a lot of times schools will host their own admissions info sessions and open houses, whether that's in person or virtual. And a lot of times you can find that just by going to the school's website. So for example, if you take the University of Maryland, Carey School of Law, and I choose University of Maryland because I'm a proud Marylander, good Terps. So if you go to University of Maryland or any other law school and you go to admissions, usually they might have a place where they have visits or events. This looks a little bit different at every single school. And you'll actually be able to see events for JD events, right? And so they might have these webinars or current student panels or application information sessions. They even have personal statement workshops and resume and letter of recommendation workshops. The schools have so much information that I think a lot of us just sleep on. But for example, if you go to some of these events, and they will even tell you like where they'll be at different law school fairs in person, but if you go to some of these events, not a guarantee, can't speak for the University of Maryland, I do not work for them, but sometimes at these events, at schools, they do provide students that attend these events a code for a fee waiver that you would put in when you're checking out, when you're finishing your application. Not a guarantee, but sometimes that does happen, so that's something to be aware of. Now, there's lots of other reasons why you should be going to these events. You want to get to know admissions. It's really important to be establishing those relationships with admissions. I've talked about this again and again and again, so you should be going to those events anyways, but it's an added bonus that sometimes if you go, you can get a fee waiver. The fourth way that you can get a fee waiver actually is just by taking the law school admission test. Just take it. And oftentimes, if your score is high enough, you'll start to get emails and regular snail mail, if people still do that, with like, you should apply and we've waived your fee. So sometimes I tell students, just wait, like take your LSAT score, like get your LSAT score and just see what happens in your inbox, right? Because oftentimes you don't have to do anything. They will come to you. The fee waivers, they're coming to you. So that's a really exciting thing. If you score high enough on your LSAT exam, of course, that can help you with scholarships. It can help you with admissions, but it could also save you some money. So that's a really nice gift that keeps giving. The fifth way that you can get your fee waived is actually sometimes by applying. There are some schools that have an entire application or request form. So, for example, if you look at Yale University, Yale Law School, they have a JD application fee waiver request form. And I actually remember submitting one of these. And so, of course, they do accept LSAC fee waivers, but also even if you don't have an LSAC fee waiver, you can still apply. Applying for a fee waiver will not delay or affect the consideration of your application in any ways. So I know sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, but if I apply, will this hurt my chances of getting in? It absolutely will not. There's some information that you apply for, and different schools ask for different information, but you can find that honestly by just typing in the school and fee waiver request and seeing if the school has any specific requests. Now, I know I said I would be telling you 5 different ways of getting your fees waived, but there's really a 6th way, and this is the way that I did it when I was applying back in the day, and that's also to email. And this is actually how I did it way back in the day. So I'm actually going to pull up the email that I sent because there's nothing like seeing it in writing. So good old Sunday, October 19th, 2014. Dear University of Virginia School of Law, my name is Sydney Montgomery and I am a senior at Princeton University. After careful research and review, I believe that applying to UVA School of Law is the right decision for me, and I hope to be able to apply in the next coming weeks. Unfortunately, however, due to family circumstances, my parents are unable to help me pay for law school application fees. As a military dependent and a full-time student, I am trying to pay for the law school application fees on my own, and I'm finding this financial burden to be more than I can manage. I'm asking for some consideration regarding an application fee waiver. Any help that would be available from your school would be greatly appreciated. I look forward to hearing from you regarding your decision. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Sydney Montgomery, Princeton University, Department of English. I probably could have done a little bit better, but this was 20-year-old me and this is what I had. But the response, basically the very next day, I sent it Sunday night, they sent it Monday morning. We're happy to waive your application fee. When you apply to UVA Law, please use the following application fee waiver code. Thank you for your interest in UVA Law. We look forward to receiving your application. Like, I mean, how nice are they? How lovely, how generous, how easy was that? Like, ask not, receive not, closed mouths do not get fed. That is what I learned during my law school application process. I know that it can be really hard to make yourself vulnerable and to admit when you need help, but sometimes you have to admit when you need help. Now, obviously, like, please don't abuse this. If you are loaded and rolling with money, like, just pay the application fee. But if you are struggling to figure out how you're going to possibly apply for schools and it's getting a little bit much, there's help available to you. Like I said, you can apply for an LSAC fee waiver, and that really should be your first step no matter what you do. Because if you have an LSAC fee waiver, there are so many opportunities available to you. As I mentioned, we here at Barrier Breakers are a nonprofit organization, so we have a sliding scale for students working with us, and we give 70 to 80% off of all of our services to students with fee waivers. We also have payment plans, even for people that still get 80% off our services. And I know lots of LSAT test prep companies and tutors who give a lot of their services and their courses available at no cost or very little cost if you have a fee waiver. So I cannot stress this enough. If finances are even remotely a concern for you, please, your first step is to apply for an LSAC fee waiver, and if it is denied, please appeal. Because you never know, it could really open up so many doors and it can make this whole process a lot more affordable. The second thing to do is to go to the forums, which you should do anyways, because you want to get to know law schools and you want to meet them, but you could get a fee waiver. The third thing that you want to do is to go to admissions events, which you want to do anyways, because you want to get to know admission deans and directors, and it's a great way to demonstrate your interest and have them get to know you beyond just the 2 pages of your personal statement and the 1 page of your diversity statement. The fourth way is to take the LSAT. Right? Just take the LSAT, which you're going to do anyways, and you might actually get a lot of fee waivers in your inbox. And then the fifth way is to apply to the schools if they have a specific request form or application. And then that sixth way is just to email. Be very kind, respectful, and courteous. Explain your situation succinctly. Please do not write 2 pages of a sob story. That is just a lot of information to put in an email. And as you saw, sometimes it's not necessary, right? Succinctly explain your situation, and if they're able to do it, then they will. Or if they say, thanks so much, unfortunately, we can't waive our fee, then there's that. And that's okay, right? You say thank you. Be gracious in getting a no. Be gracious in getting a yes. It doesn't mean that they don't care about you. It doesn't mean anything, right? It's just every school has different policies and you want to be really respectful of that. But if you don't ask, if you don't advocate for yourself, and you're trying to be a lawyer, right? You're trying to advocate for others, you should always first advocate for yourself. And you never know what you can receive if you ask. So hopefully this was helpful. As a reminder, we are a nonprofit organization, and so if you are looking to support an organization, or if a lawyer friend that you know is, definitely make sure to send them to barrier-breakers/donors. We take all donations, small and large. They all help us make our program more accessible and more affordable to more students, especially students that have fee waivers. Make sure that you like and follow the podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am here for you. We, the entire team at Barrier Breakers, we are here for you every single step of the way. And if we can help you in your application journey, please do not hesitate to reach out. We've got small group boot camps. We've got one-on-one consulting. We've got a $19 Mastering Your Personal Statement and Diversity Statement course. We'll link that in the show notes below. We are here to help you no matter what your financial circumstances are, no matter who you are, your background, your identity. We want to be here. We want to support you and give you that community so that you don't have to do the law school application process alone. So I will see you very soon. And as always, if you need something, you know how to reach me.